You know, I hate to say that I told you so, but I told you and I told everyone else, Texas Stadium, that come 2 weeks later I would be the American heavyweight champion, and here I am. It's so nice to not have to get up here and scream and yell and act illiterate, because this speaks for itself. As far as this Indian that everybody's impressed by, come next Friday night, Dallas, Texas, it's back to the reservation, Strongbow. But to matters at hand, Kevin Von Erich, first of all my fans out there, because yes, I am your champion, whether you like it or not, you will respect me. Kevin Von Erich, you've been up in the ring crying about your brother. You know, Mike Von Erich, the new sensation. The new sensation. Well, the new sensation, Mike Von Erich, is history. You know, I love the sound of a shoulder popping out of socket. And Kevin Von Erich, it is true that in 1980, you and I went back a long way. And you are the man that put the scars on the most handsome human being walking the earth. But Kevin Von Erich, I did more damage to you than you'll ever think about doing to me. And as far as you, Mike Von Erich, wherever you're hiding at, whether it be the hospital or at home in Lake Dallas with your daddy, Fritz Von Erich, I know you'll never have the guts to get in the ring with me again, because you found out what it was like to be in the ring with a champion. And you, Kevin Von Erich, I knocked so much gray matter out of your brain. That's why you wrestle barefooted, because you can't even tie your shoes anymore. So let me say to the whole Von Erich family and everybody out there, I am back, and I am the champion. Mike Von Erich is not the champion. Kevin Von Erich is not the champion. Fritz Von Erich is not the champion. Chino Hernandez, the handsome half-breed, is the champion.
Alliance today for the signing of a world title match to take place at the St. Petersburg Bayfront Center on August 29th. That's Saturday night, August the 29th. The most controversial issue ever to come up in front of the National Wrestling Alliance Board has been between the matches, caused by the matches between the Assassin #1 and the World Heavyweight Champion, Dusty Rhodes. Assassin #1 has claimed that he has defeated Dusty Rhodes in the middle of the ring twice and is now claimant for the World Heavyweight title. Dusty Rhodes has finally agreed to meet the Assassin after requesting the National Wrestling Alliance for this match. I have the contracts with me, and we will have the signing today. And I will give the contract first to the challenger.
More than happy to sign this, Coach John.
Now, Mr. Rhodes, where it says World Champion. Thank you.
Wait just a minute, Coach. Let me tell you something, you know. I sit over here and listen to this man, listen to you talk about the National Wrestling Alliance. Assassin #1 has went around this country, which I am World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion of, and he has said on numerous occasions that he has pinned me for the 7 count. He has pinned me on another count, wearing a belt around, claiming World Heavyweight title. On the 29th in the Bayfront Center, you're going to get your chance to be World Heavyweight Champion. Your last chance, my man. You understand what I'm saying? The only reason that I signed this thing because it is in good faith. Do you know what I mean? And I got a little something special for you. You don't know what you signed. You did sign a World Heavyweight title match. That's true. But the National Wrestling Alliance, you should always read what you sign, Assassin. And this thing is under Texas Deathmatch rules. First time ever in the Bayfront Center World Heavyweight title match, Texas Deathmatch rules. And this time, I tricked you, my man. I tricked you. I don't want to hear about it.
Let me see that. Let me see that. Where's stipulated? Let me see the contract. I want to see the contract. Now listen, I came down here and I signed this contract in good faith, Coach John. I signed this contract for a world's title match. Said nothing about a Texas Deathmatch, Rhodes.
That's it. This time, the trick's on you, Assassin. This time,
well, I might have expected something like this from you. Give me the contract. There ain't no contract. Turn that camera off, I said.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that this was going to cause him to feel badly about this. Yeah,
maybe Georgia Championship Wrestling and maybe the NWA and maybe you don't understand. And most of all, I don't think you understand what the world champion wants. The world champion gets. And when I'm out here, I don't divide my time vocally on this microphone. I don't divide my attention when I'm in that ring with anybody. You understand that?
Yeah,
anybody.
Understand it.
Now, I know you got illusions. You know, to look at you is an insult. You came out here. Well, let me tell you something, brother. Nobody checks out my routine for Pan. They stand back there and watch that monitor. I know very well, Tommy Rich, how it hurts you to hear those girls screaming for me, how it hurts you to look at this body. But, brother, you're going to have to learn to live with that because just like I'm their world champion, I'm your world champion. You understand that, Now, take a hike. Take a hike. That's right. Hey, you know, as a matter of fact, the #1 contender, right?
Yeah.
Huh? They're screaming about it. Now, look at this. Just a minute. Push this booth out of the way here. Get this camera. Now, Rich, you're the one you want to be the world champion, huh? $25 cowboy boots, a phony lizard belt, $5 jeans, and what are you, the all-American hero wearing this John Wayne shirt? Look at this, $5,000 worth of robes, $10,000 worth of gold belt, and $1 million worth of wrestling talent. Now, why don't you take a hike? Understand?
Wait a minute now. Just hold this thing. I got work to do. You take a hike. Tommy Rich, after the champion, falling from behind, and it is Tommy Wildfire Rich exploding out there, Iron Mike Sharp. After Tommy Rich, the referee, trying to restore order here, and it is the champion hurdled outside the ring. And now it is Tommy Rich against Iron Mike Sharp. And now Rick Benfield has charged the ring now. See some very exciting and unusual things in Mid-South Wrestling. But the sport of wrestling is very unpredictable. And Bill, what happened here last week, I'm like everybody that's seen it. It was totally uncalled for, and I know that you want to make a statement in regards to that incident.
Well, that's right, Jim. You know, I think all sports are getting a little bit out of control. It seems like life itself is, you know, that when people want to try to live within the framework of the rules and regulations, it seems like they get stepped on and they get run over, and they try to get some kind of justice, and they can't get it. I think more and more people are just having to take things into their own hands. And certainly, you know, when I retired from wrestling, I retired by choice, not because I had to. And I'm no stranger to lumps and bruises. I knew when I got into the sport of professional wrestling that you had to be able to lose as well as win. And I never was where I couldn't look a man in the eye that beat me fair and square and said, you were a better man tonight. You won this one. Didn't mean I wasn't going to try to whip him later. But when thugs try to enforce their rule by running over everybody, by forcing people into matches, by tar and feathering them, by whipping them with belts, and I admit that I lost my temper, something I haven't done in 2 years, and I slapped one loudmouth sissy. Now, let me tell you, pal, just because I've kept that temper in check for a couple of years, when you're insulting my family, you're attacking me deep. And there's no American out there. This country was made on standing up for what's right and standing up for God and country and your family. So I'm not apologizing for slapping your mouth, sissy. But what happened? The way you got back, things are out of control. You know, I thought about it a long time. Fines don't work because he doesn't pay him, his mommy does. Beating him up, everybody knows I can do that. I want to humiliate him. I want one last time. The last stampede, I guess. I guess the fire is still there. I want it to come on out and boil down one time. Cowboy Bill Watts back in the ring one time. And I want to humiliate Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express in such a way that he will be ashamed to ever show his face. He won't ever be able to look people in the eye because everybody's going to say, remember what Cowboy Bill Watts did to you? You'll never forget the last stampede, Cornette. I got a surprise for you and the Midnight Express.
I am tired, Jim.
Too. You know, you people out there, I have gone through an awful lot to make Mr. Wrestling 2 the name that it is. And needless to say, I'm very proud of that name because I'm the man that made it. By going through a lot of heartaches, bumps, knocks, and getting kicked around many times. But we have an imposter, a man that claims to be Mr. Wrestling 2. Well, let me tell you people something. You people in Atlanta, Georgia, all over the state of Georgia, there can only be one Mr. Wrestling 2. And I have an open contract for you, sir, Mr. Imposter. Sign it. Any kind of match you want. Put your name down. Put what kind of match you want. Because I'm coming after you, and there is nothing that will get in my way. I will go through you, and there will be one Mr. Wrestling.
My daddy was a dirty, ornery, dusty wrestling cowboy from Texas. That's right. And my mama, where'd she come from? She came from North Bay, out of the woods, the North Woods. And my mama was from where men are men and so are the women. And they got together, and what did they produce? They produced a North American baby. That's right, they produced a Canuck. A Canuck. That's a Canadian kook. They call me the craziest, wildest man in professional wrestling. Well, I'm not afraid of Roddy Piper. I'm not Ric Flair, who don't have enough guts to get in a ring with a wild man, because I am proud of what I am. I know that Roddy Piper says, hey, says, I do exactly as I want to, when I want to, where I want to. I do exactly what I want to, too. And I'll stand up for my flag, and I'll stand up for the Canadian flag, and I'll stand up for what I believe is right in. Now, Roddy Piper doesn't realize what he's going into the ring with. He's going in the ring with a man that's meaner than a rattlesnake and tougher than shoe leather. And I promise you one thing, that I am crazier than a beaver in heat. And I've got teeth. And if it's necessary to use those teeth on Roddy Piper, well, I'll use those teeth. But if the man wants to wrestle, which I doubt if he knows very little of, well, that's exactly what I'll do, is I'll wrestle Roddy Piper. I'll match him hold for hold. I'll tear him limb from limb. I'll pull the eyeballs from his head. I'll beat on his head until his brain's like marshmallows and his eyeballs are jelly at Maple Leaf Gardens, May the 15th.